My next app is another similar one. This one's called Stamp Value Jefferson. When we open it, we see this screen. Continuing to the next screen, yeah, explore 1 million stamps. Yeah. Help us grow. Oh, are you enjoying it? Oh, yeah, I'm enjoying reading your Unlock Premium. Well, not until you can prove yourself. So we'll hit continue. Click on the camera icon and you'll get another window which you can either take a picture of it or click on gallery and upload it from your phone. Here again you see the DSKU scale slider below. There's our Ireland stamp and identification is in progress. Bam! Another excellent non-result. At the top is its best match that is just like the two previous apps and the irrelevant results below that. Going to our trusty Clemenceau stamp, it was able to identify it as a 1939 Clemenceau Military Knight stamp. And clicking on the right arrow there for more information, it tells you it has a price of between $3 and $94. That's very good to know, I guess. And then down below, you can see it shows you an example of it's found the listing for it on Amazon.com. France 443. No, this is not France 443 either. And they give you a description saying the 1939 Clemenceau Military Knight stamp was issued by France in 1939. Its historical significance and depiction of a revered historical figure make it a valuable and collectible item for philatelists interested in French history. Yeah. Catalog code France 443, which, like I said, is wrong. Let me go to Hipstamp real quick here. I'm going to put France Clemenceau. It's France Scott number 371. While it says it's France 443, it doesn't say what catalog reference that is, so I don't know what that 443 will help you with. I tried our obscure Belgian overprint stamp, and no go. I come to the end of my free trial period. So that was Stamp Value Jefferson. And based on those limited tests, I give that a hard pass also. So now we move on to the next app I call Stamp Identifier Washington. Open it up. We get to the purchase screen, $4.99 a week, $19.99 a year. Continue on to the next screen, and we click on the button on the camera icon below to start the Identify, or touch the Identify button up near the center here, and you get the window in which to frame your stamp to take a picture with your camera, or click on the image icon here to the left of the camera icon and upload one from your phone. Here's our Ireland stamp. Within the stamp image, it does say identifying stamp. We'll see if it's identifying it. No. The top image is my stamp. That's not what it identified. Below that are the stamps it identified or guessed at. And you see there's a Indian stamp, a U.S. stamp, a U.S. sheet of stamps, and a Christmas Island stamp. So I moved on to the Clemenceau stamp, identifying stamp, and another fail, it looks like. That's my stamp at the top. It's guessed, is that Victoria 221? No. Is it Victoria 183? Nope. Italy 177? No. Australia CO1. It's close, I guess. So I'll go on to the next stamp. My obscured Belgian overprint, and the top four results are no bueno. Scroll down to the bottom of the screen and there's four more. There's four more false results. So there were 12 results that returned and none of them were correct. Moving on to my next stamp. Look, I got more than two. So my third stamp was Sweden. And the results, China, US, India, China. So it could not find even a stamp of Sweden, much less this stamp of Sweden. Go to our next France stamp, the seal of friendship, and there's a US of France, not the right Franco, and another US stamp, a US beer stamp, a US special delivery, another special delivery, and a revenue stamp, China, and another US revenue. So it was not able to find this stamp of France. So, stamp identifier Washington. I have to call that a hard fail. Now we come to the last two apps, and these are the only two that I would actually consider. The next one was halfway decent. That's the one I call Stamp Identifier Franklin. And when you open it up, you come immediately to the Stamp Identifier screen. And just like the rest, you upload a stamp into the identifier screen, click press done, and here's your result. None of those look even remotely like our Ireland stamp. I tried it again, this time using the camera instead of the uploading the image, because with the camera I was able to fit the whole stamp within the square, and then click done, and you see the results. It found the stamp fine now. Now in the thumbnails, it looks like these are vertically oriented stamps. That's just because it's compressed to fit within that square thumbnail. When you click through that top listing, it says read more, you'll see the listing in the proper horizontal orientation, and the listing gives you the SG number, Stanley Gibbons catalog number 325 and 326. But if you want the reference price, you have to get the paid version of the app. So then moving along, I put the Belgium occupation stamp of Germany, hit done, and it at first glance appears to have failed. It shows a result with a Morocco occupation overprint, another Morocco, German offices, looks like that says Belgium, post offices, but it's not the correct denomination. Ours is a 40, this is the 30 basic stamp, 80, 25, 25. So it found the basic stamp. It found the German occupation of Belgium overprint stamp. It found a couple of stamps in that same series, but not the exact stamp with the correct denomination. And that's the information you get when I clicked on, this particular one that's not our stamp. To get any more information, you have to buy the paid version. So continuing on, I'm not going to show you all the screens again, uploading and identifying. This is the result I got for the Austria stamp from Italy occupation of Austrian areas. So it did identify it. The best match was not it. The third stamp listed is actually our stamp, the 40 centesimi di Corona. So we'll click on that to read more about it, and we see that this is Austria Italian occupation, Scott number. So there's a good point in its favor. Scott number N71. N designates the occupation stamps for any country, but you don't get any pricing information unless you buy the premium version. And then the next stamp I tried was the Sweden, and it did identify that one just fine, Sweden number 12. So yippee. And the France, the Clemenceau stamp, it did also identify, and you get the Scott number 371. Continuing on, I tried the France seal of friendship, and we got Scott 352. So we're good there. Our obscured overprint stamp from Belgium, look at that. It found it also, which is somewhat amazing to me because, as you can see, you have Belgium number 14, the King Leopold, directly over it, but it completely ignored it. You don't even get any results showing the King Leopold stamp. Be that as it may, this passed the test. All right, then we end up on the page screen again. So this app correctly identified 6 out of the 7 stamps, which is a pretty good result. This one had the Highest weekly cost, though, of any of the apps so far is $6.99 a week and $17.99 a month and $34.99 a year. However, for the basic results, as I showed you where it shows you listings and you can find the catalog numbers, there is unlimited use of this free version. So it does have some use. You do have ads that will pop up though. So like I said, this is one of the two useful apps I found, and that is Stamp Identifier Franklin. Then I'm saved the best for last. My last app is the Colnect Stamp Identifier app, and this is really my preferred app. It has a mobile app that you can download onto your phone or tablet and use that. Or you can go to the website on your laptop or desktop computer, and they have a web version that's very easy to use. And I use it all the time. And very rarely am I let down by it. So I'll show you the phone app version. Let's open it up. And the first screen you come to is Get Started with the Pro version. Look at that. It's also the cheapest at $4.99 a month or $28.99 a year. And what do you get for that, for your money, for the Pro version? Well, you get no ads, and you can save as many favorite stamps as you want. Now, if you don't want to save favorite stamps and you don't mind the ads, the free version with ads works just fine for me. So I click on Continue with Ads. And we come to this screen where we can either select take a picture with the camera or upload an image from your photo gallery. And again, here's our trusty Ireland stamp. And the result, yes, it shows not only that exact stamp, but its companion stamp. It was a 2-stamp set that year. And the Colnect app, it always fills up these extra images, even if it has the exact image match on top. So that's no biggie. So it did come up with an exact match. And if you click on the stamp, it takes you to the detailed listing on the Colnect webpage, or on the app actually here. As you can see, it gives you all the information you need. It's from Ireland. It's from the series called Entry into the European Communities, and then these catalog codes. And it gives you the Michel catalog number. It gives you the Scott number, 327. It gives you the Yves Atelier French catalog number. It gives you Stanley Gibbons catalog number, the Affinsa Italian catalog number, and the Hibernia Irish stamp catalog number. It tells you the date of issue, gives you the print run, which is no commas, so that's looks like 2 million stamps. And blah, blah, blah. It's printed in photogravure. It's got no watermark, and the design is 40¼ by 24.5 millimeters. And if you want to see more, you click on See on Colnect, and it will take you to the page where you can find other stamps in the same series and that same year. Going on to the next stamp, the Clemenceau. Now this is the reason I put this stamp. I actually accidentally came across this when I was working on listing stamps for my hip stamp store. I scanned this stamp and I was too lazy to look it up in the catalog. I just threw it up on Colnect and it was not able to identify it. So I clicked on Show Closest Matches just to see what it does have. And it's got all these unrelated stamps, nowhere near the battleship design. So going to the Belgium overprint that's obscured by King Leopold. While it's not the top result, it did find it 1, 2, 3 in the 4th row. So you see our 4-franc overprint stamp right here. So this is only the second app that found this stamp. The next stamp was the Germania stamp with a Belgian occupation, and it also found the stamp right off. The 40 pfennig value shows up in the 2nd row, 3rd stamp in the 2nd row. So I call that a pass, because the idea is to at least be able to find the stamp, even if it's not the first one listed. So now looking at our Austria under Italian occupation, the overprint, and there again we did find this one was the first stamp shown, 45 centesimi di Corona stamp. And then the next stamp we tried was the Sweden stamp that we discovered earlier, was Sweden Scott number 12. And this one, and with this one, we have another case where it found the stamps, other stamps in that same series, the same design, but with different denominations. And our denomination 50 does not show up in the results. So you would have to just click on one of these similar stamps to click through to the Colnect page, where you can find the 50 value stamp. So I give it half credit for this one anyways, because it does at least put you on the path to finding out the stamp. Here we have the blue Seal of Friendship stamp from France. This one too, like the battleship, it came up with spurious results. It could not find this exact stamp. So I don't know if it has something with the color blue. Well, no, because there's that Togo stamp down here. It's also in blue. Well, anyways, but I don't know. Maybe blue is its weakness. Like Green Lantern's power ring has a weakness for yellow. So that was the Colnect Stamp Identifier app. It did not score as well as Stamp Identifier Franklin, although I still prefer it because it does have a laptop version or a laptop or desktop version, which I much prefer using. And the occasional misfire, like with the two French stamps it couldn't find. Well, that's going to happen. It's just not a deal breaker for me, that's all. So I'll continue to use that Colnect app. So that was a look at 10 stamp identifier apps, one of them being only for US stamps, which seems to work fine as it seems to have a built-in catalog, which, makes it easy to match up your stamp with. And it gives you all the pertinent information, including Scott catalog number. Then there were 9 worldwide stamp ID apps, 7 of which I found useless. And 2 of them, the Stamp Identifier Franklin and the Colnect Stamp Identifier app. Between those two, I prefer the Colnect app, like I said. I hope you found that useful, and I thank you for bearing with me through all these tests. And if you have any other suggestions, like I got for this episode, if you have any other suggestions for a episode you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. And until then, this is Ted the Talking Stamp Collector wishing you all happy stamping.